So what I'd like to do in this video is show you how to create a table in our database. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Now that we're signed in, I'm going to go ahead and click on Manage Website. And I want to open up a couple tabs. One is for the File Manager. Another is for my database. We're going to go ahead and go to Manage, PHP My Admin. So what we'd like to do now is, I'm going to expand this a little bit, is I want to show you how to create a table. So we made, at the very first video, we created a table inside here called Video Games. And I went ahead and deleted that one. And then here's another one that I just kind of have sitting in here because I wanted to show you how to delete a table. So I'm going to go to Operations here, and I'm going to hit Delete the Table. So now we have a clean database with no tables inside of it, right? And a couple things we're going to need at this point is we are going to need to know the name of our database, our username, and we know the host. So I'm actually going to right-click up here, duplicate this one more time so that we have two of these folders. And what this is going to be used for is I'm going to be working inadvertently maybe between a couple files, so I'd like to have an extra copy just sort of hanging out. So let's go into contact.php. Now you might notice that I'm letting you see the password here, and that's because at the end of the video I'd like to show you how to change the password, and so you can change it as many times as you like. It's pretty easy, you just keep updating this. Now let's say we want to learn how to create a table, right? So I'm just going to do a quick search and say PHP SQL create table. So I just sort of, when I'm searching for stuff, just kind of type in the languages I want to learn and then what I'd like to do. So you can see here we have PHP create tables, and we go inside of here and you can see, hey, this is the SQL command. All right, but how the heck do you use that? And then as I scroll down, I use the object-oriented approach, right? You can see here we have a server name, localhost. That's good. We know our username, we know our password. And now there's another option that's inside of here. Let's go ahead and copy this. And what I'm going to do is just dock this off to the side by hitting my Windows and right key. And then I'm going to dock this as well, Windows and left key. So they're sitting against each other so we can see this. So this is what their PHP file looks like. And it looks a lot like ours, right? So inside of this, I'm going to go ahead and create a new database name. And you really could just copy, paste this in there. I suggest that you type it out, especially if it's your first time, you know, like so that way you can make those mistakes, you know, the misspellings and all that good stuff. But these videos tend to need to be run quickly. So here's our DB name. See, right away, as I said that, I subconsciously allowed myself to do it. So what this line is doing is we're passing in, remember, this is what creates the connection to the database. So within this variable, we're creating a new variable, this variable is storing a new connection to the database. And so here's our server name, password, and now here's our database name. But our database is not called MyDB. Our database is actually called DB. It's called this number with underscore game. So I'm going to copy that and jump back in here. And I'm just going to double click in there and then paste that. And I'm going to hit save. Now the next thing they have you do is add that, which is good. We've got the same stuff going on here where we're checking if it connects. If it doesn't, we're going to append a message, which really is the error message. Right now, if we look at ours, let's go back into this side here. If I right-click on my contact HTML and I click View to see that and I hit Submit, we are getting the success message, right? What we want to do here is we want to keep that success message, and I'm just going to give myself a space underneath that. So I'm going to do copy this echo line here, and then just say inside of these quotes, I'm just going to do a line break, and this is another way of echoing a command. So when after this runs, we'll get a break in our command, and that's where we're going to run our next thing. So what they do before we're even checking our database connection is we create our table. Here we actually do the connection to our database and we check if it works. Then we say that it's connecting. Then we're going to give ourselves some output on the screen, like a space. Initially, you will delete all of this. You don't want to send this to your in your portfolio, they see connection success as they're like trying to buy something from your shopping cart. So what we want to do is create a variable, and we'll just do SQL here equals, and then a set of quotes. Now, what I'll do is copy this SQL statement here, but I'm going to actually gut it a little bit. So let's go ahead and paste this in here. Now, I do want a ID, and I want to ask myself, so what kind of table am I creating? Well, we initially wanted to create a sort of like a inventory system, right, for our video game system for storing video games, okay? So let's create a table. Instead of calling my guest, let's just call the table games, because maybe we'll store board games too, I don't know. So we'll just do storing games. And these are games that we sell. So we definitely need an ID. We could use a title to our game. We can use maybe a description, I don't know. Description, maybe genre, right? So this could be horror, western, whatever. And then this could be the description that we're looking for. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Now here's the timestamp, right? We're going to register a time. Maybe this could be the date that the game was made, right? So instead of registration date, we could do, I don't know, like, I don't know. We'll leave it registration date. It's just whenever the game was made, okay? Now we need to check, use this SQL statement to check if our if that command runs and our table is created. So here we want to check if our table has been created. So we'll do that with a if statement. And the reason I'm actually typing out all the if statements and stuff like that is because I do think that you should get used to sort of like, let's get rid of this extra if in here. You should get used to like looking at it and copying, and as you type it out, the other part of it is you want to make sure that you create the structure first. So practice creating the structure of an if statement or else statement or whatever instead of just copying and pasting. So we named our connection $connection here, right? So if the connection that we're doing, and we're going to point, so what we're saying is if this query here actually runs, right? So the name of our query is the same. And so we're going to do 3 equal signs. So if this actually runs, right, this is true, we just want to echo out that we are now connected to the database. We are now connected to the database. All right. The other thing is, let's go ahead and hit save on this guy too. We are going to do an else statement, and what this is going to do, so let's create that, is check if our, here's our else statement, we're going to spit out an error. Now we're going to append what that error is. Okay, so if I copy this, just understand that if I get rid of this right now, we would just get the word error. What this is going to do is it's going to check if this connection, the connection here, and then it's going to point to whatever the error that we get. So if we don't connect to the database, we'll get a nice little error screen. It'll tell us what to do. The last thing we want to do is close our connection. So let's copy this, and we're just going to point to close. Now, even though I told you to type it out, you are going to have to do a little bit of copying and pasting. I've actually done this particular connection to a table several times before, so to me, I knew what all this stuff is. But if this is your first time seeing this, do not just copy and paste. Type it out, look at it, make mistakes. So let's hit save here. And then I'm going to jump back into here, and I'm going to hit refresh. And it says we are not connected to the database. Okay, so what's going on there? Let's go back up here. And it says we are not connected to the database. And actually, we are now connected to the database. That's what I wanted. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to rerun this. Sorry about that. I was like, huh, that's kind of interesting. So let's refresh it. Here we go, error, creating table, games already exist. So good, we know that it already exists. Now let's double check it. So if I go back into my database here, you might be like, wait, there's no games database. Well, let's refresh this. And now when I expand this, it's now a plus sign. Come on. And you can see now I have a games database. And I'll go ahead and click on that, and we'll click on structure. And now you can see title, genre, description, registration date. So we have all of those fields. And if I check all of these, you can see we can change them, we can edit them here. Now what I'd like to do in the next video is show you how to write to the database. We'll do it once through just the command, and then we'll do it again with the form. By doing it through our form, we'll create like a neat little thing for our video game employees to type in the title, the genre, the description, all that good stuff.